to make progress in silence. Some people have decided that they live on social media. They live in the public arena, in the public space. I don't understand it, but maybe I'm old school. Maybe I'm just awkward. Today I want us to talk about the story of the woman in the book of 2 Kings chapter 4 verse 5. So basically what I think this woman is an underdog entrepreneur, and I believe that most of us are underdog entrepreneurs, but we just don't know it. I was very fascinated by the outcome of this story. Like, this woman, her husband died and her husband left her in debt. She wasn't doing anything, because if she was, she would have been able to pay the people who came to seize her sons. So after her husband died, she didn't have any money, and she was broke. She was destitute, and her husband had left her in debt. So the people that her husband was owing came to collect the money. She said she didn't have it. They said to her that they're going to take her sons and make her sons slaves. And this woman, she was so desperate, she was in an emotional distress. So she ran to the man of God, Prophet Elijah, and she said to him, sir, please help me. These people are coming to take my children, my boys, to enslave them, because my husband died, I'm a widow, and he didn't leave any money for us. He left us in debt. He was owing these people. Guess what the prophet said to her? The prophet said, oh, is that so? You're a widow. He didn't say to her, oh, I'm so sorry. He didn't say to her, oh, you should go and look for work immediately and start working and earn money to pay these guys. He also did not say to her that, have you applied for government benefits or for social welfare? He didn't say any of these things to her. He asked her, what do you have at home? And she naively said, I don't have anything. But she added that, I do have some olive oil at home. But olive oil is something. It's not nothing, is it? So the man of God said to her, okay, this is what we're going to do. I'm going to ask you to go, and you are going to have to go and take all the olive oil that you have at home. Go and ask your neighbors for containers, to fill out the olive oil into. And then you're going to have to lock yourself up in your house, lock the door behind you, and fill out the oil into the containers that you have borrowed from your neighbors. This lady, she didn't argue with this guy. She didn't say, but that's not going to be enough. She said absolutely nothing but yes. Okay, and off she went. She locked the doors behind her. She sent her kids to get the containers, and her kids came. They started filling out the containers up until the point where, I'll read that to you. She said, according to the Bible, bring me another one. She asked her sons, and they replied, there isn't a jar left. The oil then stopped flowing. Wow, oh wow. She went back to the man of God and said, sir, I have filled out all the containers, and the moment I was short of jars, the oil stopped flowing. And the man of God said to her, fantastic. Now it's time for you to sell the oil in the market, add value to someone's life, get paid, and use that money to pay your debts so that your sons are not taken by these men who want to make them slaves, and use the change to live on. So he didn't ask her to go and buy Louis Vuitton bag, long posh hair which is very soft. No, he said, use the balance to live on with your kids. So never, in other words, run into debts ever again. Use the rest of the money wisely. When I read this story, these are the things that came to my mind, and these are the 5 lessons that we can learn from this underdog entrepreneur, which we all are, by the way. I do believe that we are all underdog entrepreneurs. The first lesson is that we have to shift from feeling sorry for ourselves and start to confront our own issues. We have to develop the courage to confront our own issues. So you see, let me tell you a short story. When my father died, oh my God, I just threw so many pity parties for myself. I was going around seeking pity from people. Oh, my father's died and I'm so young. This is what people are doing to me and all that. But I realized something. 20% of the people that I spoke to, they were like, yes, I'm so happy this is happening to Sylvie. And the other 80%, they did not give a rat's ass that I was going through all these things. And you know what happened? At some point, I felt like, you know, the story of Saul, when the scales fell off his eyes and he stopped being evil and became a good guy. In my case, the scale fell off my eyes and I realized, oh my God, I need to snap out of this self-pity party and start facing my life. And when I decided to turn around in my mind, my mental state, I started to face my life as though it was me and just me, and obviously my God. I don't know what you're dealing with right now, but what I can assure you is that evoking self-pity or seeking self-pity from people is not going to take you very far. You will realize that you are all you've got, and the moment you come to that realization, the way you start acting will be completely different. Point number 2 is that faith without works is dead. You see, this woman, she went and saw the prophet of God, I'm sure that she was hoping that he was going to give her some money to go and pay her debt, or, tell her that, you know what, I feel so bad, I think you should go and seek government support. He didn't say any of those things to her. He said to her that go and take the olive oil that you have and pour into this as many containers as you can lay your hands on. This woman, she took the words of the man of God. She went back home and she acted on faith. On faith. Obviously, if this woman had believed that she had enough olive oil to sell, this conversation wouldn't have even taken place. But the reason why she went home and she acted was because she believed that God can turn her little into plenty. Just like a farmer who plants a few grains, he believes that God can turn his few grains of corn into a farm full of corn sticks. So we have to act on faith, because at the end of the day, if we don't act on faith, we get no result. You achieve 0 of the attempts that you make, of the shots that you don't take. 0. You achieve 0. And I always say that when God placed the Young and Independent Project into my heart, I refused to let fear prevent me from taking action. And I believe that now it's time for you to take action based on the faith that you have in your heart. Because faith without works is dead. So take action. Lesson number 3 that we can learn from this lady is that we have to make progress in silence. Some people have decided that they live on social media. They live in the public arena, in the public space. I don't understand it, but maybe I'm old school. Maybe I'm just awkward. But if one thing we can learn from this is that the prophet asked this woman, go home, lock the door behind you. I was talking to my friend who is launching, who wants to launch an amazing product. I'm so excited for her. And she told me that she's only going to make it public when it is actually on shelves. And I was like, you go, girl, I'm proud of you. Because when we walk in silence, my mom always tells me that when your enemies don't know the routes that you use, they cannot set a trap for you. So if there's a mouse in your house that is eating all of your biscuits and your rice, and you want to catch it, and you don't know the route that mouse actually uses to travel through your home, are you able to set a trap for that mouse? Do you think? The same is true for us. When you're trying to set up a business, zip it. Because there are some people who are called dream killers. They will kill your dream before it even takes off. There's a quote that I love, and it goes, "Never announce your moves before you make them. Move in silence and shock them with your success." I really love that. I really love that mindset. And that's the third lesson we can learn from this story. The fourth lesson is that we have to become resourceful. So many of us have resources in our houses that we're not using. You have an oven, you have pots, you have cooking spoons, you have, I don't know, a cutlass. What do you have? Look around you. There's definitely something that you have in your house that you can commercialize, you can turn into an abundance if you act with faith. We have resources that we are not using, and it's time for us to use those resources. Let me tell you a short story about this. So I asked my young and independent coaching, free WhatsApp coaching group. I asked them, do you guys have any testimonials, for those of you who have been, receiving free coaching from me? And one of the testimonials I received, which was very touching to me, was from a young lady called Belina. And Belina told me that she had been in the group. I didn't even know that she was, because she never ever commented. She said she had been in the group, and because of my teachings, she decided that she was not going to spend another year at home because her siblings or her family members didn't help to pay her university tuition. So what she did was to use the knowledge she already had. She had a GCE A levels. She went and looked for work in a primary school where her knowledge and her skills were required. And she started teaching there during the day, and she was able to earn money, which she used to pay her tuition to continue her university education. That's what I call being resourceful. You have a commercial degree, perhaps. What degree do you have? What do you have? You have something that the next person is 100% willing and able to pay you for. Use that. This lady had her olive oil, which she was able to sell, pay her creditors, and she had some change to live on. And the fifth lesson that we can learn is what the prophet said to her: use the rest of the money to live on. So let me ask you a question. Do you think that if this lady she paid the creditors and she took the money and went into a Louis Vuitton shop and bought, or she went and bought a lot of beef and chicken and came and had a feast with her kids, do you think she will have money for tomorrow? Because obviously we just heard that she poured out all of the olive oil, so she didn't have anything left of the olive oil that she previously had. So these are some of the things that managing your money really means. The first thing is that you can pay for a course and learn a new skill. And if you learn a new skill, you're going to increase your value on the marketplace. And if you increase your value, your income is going to naturally increase. The second thing that you can do with that money that you've earned from your resourcefulness is to put it on the stock market. The stock market right now has crashed. Personally, I'm losing a lot of money, but I'm not bothered because this is not unprecedented. This happened many times in the past. There's something about the stock market. As much as it comes down, it always goes up most of the time. At least that's what history tells us. So you can put some of that money on the stock market. Instead of owning an Apple phone, why don't you own an Apple stock? Instead of owning a Louis Vuitton bag, why don't you put some money in the Louis Vuitton stock? So every time someone buys a Louis Vuitton bag, you get richer. You can buy the bag as well, as long as you own the stocks. You're not throwing money into the sea. The next thing you can do is to have health insurance and life insurance. Obviously, health insurance, if you're sick, it's like money that you've saved. You just walk into hospital, and you can also be able to have medical care without necessarily paying out any money. So that's money that you've saved for later for your health. Life insurance, in case something happens to you, your kids or your beneficiary, the people that you really love, they're going to be paid out some money. And you can also put some of that money towards your pension, so that when you're old and unable to work, when your back or your legs don't let you walk around, you can still be able to receive some pension money to buy food and to pay for, just some basic necessities. And the last thing that you can do, but not the least, is to create a business or businesses. So I'm a business coach and I teach people how to create businesses or how to have multiple sources of income, because I've got quite a few myself. And it's not always money for money, no. There's some things that you can do without necessarily having a huge amount of money in the bank, which will continue to produce what we call passive income for you. That's one of the things that I teach my clients. So you can create businesses, and once you do that, your earned income, which is the money that you've earned from your resourcefulness, is going to become a passive income, a portfolio income, and it's going to be money that never ever runs dry. So these are all the lessons we can learn from this woman. Maybe you're an underdog, or you're an underdog entrepreneur. You just don't know it. So I want to talk about this today. I hope you liked it. If you did, please smash that like button, share, and comment. I would love to hear all about it. What business ideas do you have in mind? Let's talk about it. All right, guys, until next time, do take care. Bye-bye.